Welcome to Real Conversations, exploring the meaning behind the music. Hi, I'm Robert Brzezinski.
And I'm Jeanne Kataoka. And together, we're having real conversations with your favorite New Thought artists.
Join us as we take a deep dive into the inspiration and meaning behind the music of New Thought. Our guests are ready to share stories from their spiritual journey and creative process with you.
Real Conversations is a chance to look behind the curtain and connect with your favorite New Thought artists.
So let's dive right in. Real Conversations, exploring the meaning behind the music. Well, hello again, dear ones. Robert Brzezinski with you, and I've got my co-host here with me today, Jeanne Kataoka. How you doing, Jeanne?
I'm doing great, Robert. How are you?
I'm absolutely fabulous, and mostly because we have one of the most amazing artists I know of with us today. Now, think about it. When was the last time you knew a New Thought artist that has recorded with the likes of Diana Ross, Cher, Herbie Hancock, Patti LaBelle, the Pointer Sisters, Peter Frampton, James Brown, Quincy Jones, Marvin Gaye, and Santana? And I'm telling you, that's just the small section of the list. I know the list goes on and on. We are really grateful to have Eddie Watkins Jr. with us here today. Hello, Eddie. Welcome aboard.
Hello. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
We are excited. Jeannie's going to get us started off here with reading an official bio and a little bit more of a formal introduction for Eddie Watkins Jr. And then we'll get into the questions and the music. Jeannie, take us away.
All righty. Eddie Watkins Jr. is an absolute creative presence. The Detroit native has always been musically gifted. From a young age, singing, performing, and playing a variety of instruments, Eddie made his professional session musician debut at age 17 for Norman Whitfield on the Temptations' Masterpiece album for the Motown label. Going on to become a sought-after recording session bass player, Eddie played on many major popular records from the mid-1970s through the mid-1990s, including, as Robert mentioned earlier, those of Gladys Knight and the Pips, Little Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, the Four Tops, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, the Temptations, James Brown, Barbra Streisand, and many more. After making a name for himself in popular music, Eddie went through a transformation season, as he calls it. He overcame substance abuse and an eating disorder and has since served as music director for 2 centers for spiritual living and a Unity Church, and has recorded several New Thought albums, including When You Believe, We Come Together, Across America, and So It Is, The Answer, New Vintage Soul, Heart Songs, and a Christmas album that just came out in 2019, wishing you a soulful, funky, jazzy Christmas with Eddie. So let's welcome Eddie and find out what led him to make the genre switch.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty nice resume there.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, I had one guy come up to me one time and he said, "Are you Eddie Watkins Jr.?" I said, "Yeah, I am Eddie Watkins Jr." He said, "Doesn't your father play bass?" I said, "No, that's me, man." I just started out really early, But there was never a time when I didn't want to play music, even as a child. My grandmother, I badgered my grandmother in the grocery store one day. I think I might have been about 6 years old. I badgered her to buy me this little plastic Beatles guitar that had the Beatles on it. I went home and unwrapped this thing, and about a half an hour, I had figured out how to tune it and start playing Beatles songs. This impressed the heck out of my grandmother.
You think?
So she went out and she actually bought me a piano, a real piano, She wasn't a wealthy lady. She didn't put it on a credit card. She had to save her money. And she bought her grandson a piano. And I think that was the single most important thing that happened to me in my life that sent me in a direction that I eventually went in, because had she not noticed that, it would have gone unnoticed.
So if you started on piano, how did you get to bass? I mean, I know you still play piano, but you're really known, I think, for
Well, I
bass.
didn't get the bass. Bass got to me. I had joined a band. I was playing organ at the time, but I wasn't really conscious of what a bass guitar was. And this guy had a bass guitar that was in the band. He hit that low E string, and when he hit it, it's like the floor started to shake and the windows started shaking, and it was like so awesome and so powerful. And I said to myself, I want that. Because it felt like the bass felt like the heart of everything. And it was so low and so warm, and you needed that bass up under everything as a foundation. And it fit my personality more than the piano did, because that's how I feel, is like when I strap on that bass and I hit those low tones that supports the whole band, it's no feeling like it, to me personally. Mm-hmm. So I think that was my calling, was primarily was to be a bass player.
Right on.
Yeah, so the bass kind of chose me.
Perfect. Well, let's get into a little of the new thought music. And, the program is called Real Conversations, the meaning behind the music. We want to inquire about a song off your very first album, The Answer. The song is called The Door Is Open to You. Mm-hmm. And had a chance to listen to you play that live on a Facebook Live recently. But if you would, tell everybody a little bit more. How's that song get to... What's the big meaning behind that song? And then we'll give it a listen afterwards.
Yeah, the meaning behind that song is so profound, because when I first discovered, well, first of all, let me back up a little bit. In 1995, my then sponsor for my 12-step program, he took me to a place called Agape in California. And when I was at Agape, I bought a book called Practical Application of Science of Mind. And that whole book was outlined because it was so much stuff in there that resonated with me. A few years later, after I had moved to Vegas to get a job, because I was like burnt out on what I was doing. I had a band called the Go Big Daddy Band I had for over 10 years, totally burnt out on that, wanted to do something else. And when I got to Vegas, I was looking for a spiritual community. So, of course, you go online and you look at this, and I'm looking at these churches, and I'm saying, no, that just doesn't work for me. A lot of stuff,
Yep, been there.
Stuff that I grew up with, because my grandmother was Pentecostal, my parents were like hardcore Southern Baptists, and they sent me to a Catholic school. So anyway, I had one view of religion and spirituality, but when I walked into the First Church of Religious Science in Las Vegas, it was on a Wednesday. And Reverend Doug was doing the service, and there was a reading that he did. It was so beautiful to me. It was about, come in, all are welcome, the fireplace is lit, and the whole thing. And I said, wow. And then I looked around me, and I saw people. I saw gay, straight, black, white, Jewish, Christian, everything was there. And I was just thinking, this is what the world looks like. Mm-hmm. This is what the world looks like, and me being a musician, I never had those prejudices that a lot of people may have, because when you're a musician, the only criteria is, can you play?
Right.
And it didn't matter, if you're a donkey, if you come damn, man, hey, you saddle up, So basically, the way that song came about, I was so moved by that concept. And I said, I got to write a song about how I feel about this religious science and this new thought entity that's like so different from everything I always knew, that everybody was included. Everybody was welcome. And it's so funny, because this song practically wrote itself. And the words came to me, no matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you could take comfort in the knowing that whether if you come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. And that came like almost instantly, then I had to fill in the rest of the song. And it took me like, a little bit to fill in the rest of the song, but the meditation, the silence, the praying together, and all of those kind of elements, they came straight out of the First Church of Religious Science. The things that we used to do, come, let's pray together, come and share a hug, come love and be loved, from the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused. This door is open to you. that was straight from my heart, what I was feeling in those moments. So I think that's one of the reasons why that song kind of resonated with the churches and the unity and religious science, because it really encompasses what New Thought is about.
Yeah, great.
So that was, and when those songs come to me, I thank God for that. You know, I mean, I don't sit up and just like think this stuff up. It just kind of comes, and then I kind of craft it. I say, whoa, so this is good information. So now I got to make a song, you know. But most of my songs come from life experiences and information that I pick up. So it's kind of easy. The what to write about is easy. The crafting the song is the difficult part, which takes skill, you know. And you can develop that skill if you have the talent. You can develop the skill.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's give it a listen, folks. This is "The Door Is Open to You" by Eddie Watkins Jr. Enjoy.
No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. If there's some kind of trouble or pain you're going through, know that you are not alone and someone cares for you. As an individualization of divine point of view, this door is open to you. This door is open. This door right here, this door is open to you. Is open for you. This door is open to you. This door is open. I'm talking about this door. This door is open. I said this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white or gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. I need to work with our music director and get that at our center. So, Eddie, I read that your compassion for animals led to a huge transformation for you. Tell us about the CD, When You Believe, and how the songs on that were significant to the change. I'm especially interested in the title track. But how did you use the other songs, including Conscious Consciousness, It's the New Day, and Thank You God for Everything, that came through you?
That's really interesting because when the When You Believe CD was conceived, I was the musical director and choir director for the Center for Spiritual Living in Seattle, serving up under Kathy Ann Lewis, who is a person that I must say was one of the most significant people in my life, changed my life. She hired me to do a job that I was not really qualified to do at the time, but she trusted that I would be able to do it. So she put me in this place, and they had just built this huge sanctuary called Celebration Hall. So I walked in there after I had got the job, and I sat in this place, and I was terrified. I was terrified. This place is, I mean, it holds like, 1,200 people, and they were doing 2 services, you know, and I said, and they had a 90-voice choir, and I had never directed a choir. So, you know, Kathy Ann, she asked me, she says, well, can you direct the choir? I said, yeah, I can direct the choir. She didn't ask me, had I ever directed one? So I went online and I was trying to figure out, how do you direct the choir, and then fortunately, there was a young lady named Nikki Suzuki that was there that was like twice the choir director that I was. She was just an amazing woman, and she actually taught me a lot. So I learned a lot from her. So she ended up doing most of the directing, and I ended up singing a lot and playing bass. But that was the beginning of that. And I also need to say that at the time, I was probably about 350 pounds. I would take the elevator up one flight of steps because I couldn't make it all the way up the steps without being out of breath, So that's what my life was then. And, I wasn't really a happy person. I was in a relationship that wasn't really working. So I kind of just dived into my music. But what happened to me, and this is an interesting story because I had a dog and a cat. I hadn't had an animal since I was like 7, 8 years old, because when that animal ran away, I was crushed. I was so in love with that animal, So I ended up with a dog and a cat in Seattle. And what happened to me was like, I had an epiphany. It's like, these animals are sentient beings. And it was sort of like, when I'm eating a cow and when I'm eating a pig or a chicken, they have emotions, they have feelings. These are like, they're like us. So I might as well eat my dog, or I might as well eat my cat. So that was what was feeling to me. So it wasn't a thing about trying to lose weight. It was just trying to be more conscious about life and where I wanted to stand in life. How did I want to show up, So what happened is, okay, well, I couldn't eat meat ever again. Not ever. So I said, well, how the heck am I going to survive? So I did some research, and then I found out about, the juicing and all of that stuff. So I would walk every morning in a place called Magnuson Park that was not too far from my home in Seattle. And I would walk and walk and walk. And I finally I was saying, something came into my head. It's like, dum, 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 dum. Dun, 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 dun. And that's all I had. That's all I had. I just walked around. I walked for miles and miles and miles with that sound in my head. And then maybe about a week later, something came up to me. Dun, dun. I said, anything is possible. Dun, 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 when you believe. And I started walking, and it started feeling good. And those were the only words I had. Only words I had, for like weeks and weeks and weeks. I would walk to this rhythm every day. Anything is possible when you believe. And as I was walking, I was slowly losing weight. I was slowly getting healthier, and my life was started to turn around. And then it just kind of fell into place like weeks later. And then I was walking, I said, faith can make a mountain move. Dun, 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 when you believe. I said, oh, this is good. That's good. So stay with this, Yeah. Don't you know that you can change a life when you believe? I said, we got it, y'all. We got it. So that's the way that song came about. When you believe, it came out of, like I said again, a personal experience where I needed. See, I'm not trying to instruct people. I'm sharing with people what I'm learning. That's all. I'm doing it in a song, but these are experiences. Like, I haven't conquered these things by any means. I'm just sharing my process through song.
Thank you.
Right on. All right. Well, let's take a listen then. This is When You Believe.
When you believe.
smile on my face, catch my set, the mood, the rest is true, accepting you for the things in life you do, pick and choose in the game to win, I lose. Only travel in the one way, that's up. People always say to me, give up. I never had enough in a belief where I can feel all the people feeling me. What I gotta say, what I gotta pray, believing in living this life every single way. Got a bunch of game, but it's not a sweepstakes. Got a bunch of love versus money in the bank. Anything is possible when obstacle jump the highest obstacle. Unexpected audible or foxtrot, hopscotch. Place your feet in the right spot. Thoughts under keen like the belief in me. Just continue to buy.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't realize, but I think I'm going to put that on my headset when I go walking today too.
Oh, it's a great walking song. The rhythm, the timing on it. Yeah.
A great walking song. And you said something interesting there, Eddie, that really grabbed me. That right, you're not here trying to teach us anything. You're sharing what you're learning.
Yes.
And my experience of your music is all along. I use your music all the time to help people understand some of the principles that we teach and how these things work. And the next song I want to listen to, and let's listen to it first, folks, and then we'll ask Eddie to share a little bit about it. This is a song, God Is All There Is. And so let's give this a listen, and then we'll come back and hear more with Eddie Watkins Jr. Enjoy it, folks. God Is All There Is.
God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. Jesus said that I and my Father are one. We're made in the image and likeness of the one. Since God is what we are, let God be what we show. Let's see the God in every face, everywhere we go. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. Your mind is divine, and the garden of your soul. Plant love, faith, and happiness, and witness what unfolds from the beauty of creation. Reflected in your eyes, you see heaven right here on earth, and you live in paradise. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. Omnipresence manifesting cosmic unity. The ins and outs, the ups and downs, and everything in between. I'm the intelligence, orchestrating relativity. The power of creation is His gift to you and me. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God.
All right. Back to our kind of idea here that you're not really instructing, you're more sharing what you're learning.
Mm-hmm.
However, it does turn out that many of these songs are very instructive for people that are just getting into this philosophy, or even people that have been around for a while. So, if you're good with it, share a little bit. How'd this song come into being?
Oh, the God Is All There Is?
Yeah.
Oh, well, see, that's easy. When I first started getting into Ernest Holmes, that was the first principle, was God is all there is. So I was looking for something that could tie into what I had been taught all of my life. But when I read the Bible is in the beginning God, right? So, I mean, most religions said in the beginning God. So, but what happened was when I realized that God was all there is, then everything else that you think is not God, you're wrong. You know, so that was amazing to me, because there is no power that's opposing God, that's trying to mess you up, and then God's got to come in and save you. That ain't how it goes, you know. But what it did was it tied in all of the things that I had learned, just like God is all there is, in the beginning God. Jesus said that I and my Father are one. We're made in the image and likeness of the one. Since God is what we are, let God be what we show. Let's see the God in every face everywhere we go. God is all there is. God is all there is. In the beginning, God. So I just wanted to make a simple song that said that simple principle, but I also wanted to tie in some of the things that I had learned, because I didn't want to throw out everything that I had learned, you know, in my Christian upbringing, in my background, because, you know, I don't believe that the Bible is the Word of God, but I believe the Word of God is in there. Because some things that I read, like in Psalms and in Proverbs, when you read it, it resonates so deeply in your soul. You know it's true. Well, those are the things that I did not want to throw away, but I didn't want to be held by that. You know what I mean? So that was just my expression. And then I kind of got a little bit metaphysical at the end, you know, omnipresence, manifesting cosmic unity, the ins and outs, the ups and downs, everything in between, omni-intelligence, orchestrating relativity. The power of creation is his gift to you and me, which our greatest gift is our power of creation. We're created by a creator, and we're creators. That's our greatest gift, you know.
That leads perfectly into the next song we wanted to talk about, Flow Through Me.
Oh, yeah, that's my youngest daughter singing on that song with me, Miss John. And yeah, Flow Through Me that came out of a meditation. There was something that was going, I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was something going on in my life where I felt that I was blocked, and I needed to clear up some things inside of my spirit that was like blocking me from loving and from being as open as I should be. So Flow Through Me is more of a prayer than a statement. It's like, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love, you know. So it's an invitation. And that's all it is, because there's not a verse and a bridge and none of that stuff like would be typically in a song. It's more of a chant and a request. Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me. So I want you to flow through me, but I want it to be seen by everyone. Flow, show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love. And that's pretty much the whole song. And I do a little ad-lib thing, you know, at the end of it, but that's talking about, you know, every hand I shake, every embrace, every thought I think, Spirit, flow through me. You know, every word I say, every night and day, I want to be an expression of your unfolding love. You know, so basically, like I said, it's not teaching anyone anything. It's more of a request, an invitation to Spirit to come and flow through me, and so that could be an expression of your unfolding love and be a testament to how great God is. I'm preaching. So there you have it. That's how Flow Through Me came about.
Let's listen to that one now.
Yeah.
Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through expression of your unfolding love. Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love. Every hand I shake, flow through me. Every embrace, flow through me. Every thought I think, flow through me. Oh yeah, Spirit, flow through me. Every word I say, flow through me. Every night and day, flow through me. I wanna be an expression of Spirit, your unfolding love. Every decision, flow through me. Through the confusion, flow through me. Flow through me, Mother, Father, flow through me. And I open up, Spirit, flow through me. So let your Spirit lead the way. Flow through me. I'm not worried, flow through me. 'Cause I know, as I believe, flow through me, so it flow through me. When I wake up in the morning, flow through me. And when I put on my clothes, flow through me. And go about my day, Spirit, flow through me. Let me touch somebody, flow through me. Let me love somebody, flow through me. Let me help somebody.
Right on. Okay, folks, this is Real Conversations, the meaning behind the music. I'm Robert Brzezinski. My co-host Jeanne Kataoka is with us today, and we have the great pleasure. We're here sitting with Eddie Watkins Jr., talking about his music and learning some new stuff about Eddie himself and how this music comes out into the world. And we want to pick it back up again. The next song I'd like to talk about, and really, we're on this theme here that your music isn't necessarily instructive. It seems very reflective of your own journey. Mm-hmm. And we love that around here because we love hearing more about musicians' journeys. So the song I Am the Place, mm-hmm. it can fit in anywhere, and it really is instructive again. But what we now know is obviously it was part of your journey. If you're comfortable, share a little bit of what's the journey that brings something like that into the world.
Well, I Am the Place Where God Shows Up. That's the title of another song, and I think it was Reverend Barbara Novak. She brought the song to me and wanted me to do it. And it was a song, the title was I Am the Place Where God Lives, I think it was, something like that. And it was totally different. It was like sort of the Unity type corny, It's like, I'm just being honest. Anyway, so I said, no, I hate the song, but I love the title. So I could write a good song around that title, So she says, well, go ahead, So, but then when I pondered what that means. I am the place where God lives. And I said, well, okay, everybody kind of knows that, but but I'm the place where God shows up. And so is everyone else. So I started thinking about, how am I feeling about that? And then I said, well, I'm not going to instruct. I am going to ask the question, am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Because sometimes I wonder and I ponder only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. And when I first sang that to myself, I wept. I could not stop the tears, because there was something inside of me that knew how true that was, that I was the place where God showed up. Where else would God show up? Have you ever had a blessing that didn't come from someone else?
Yeah.
Ever? Ask yourself that. Every blessing that you've ever gotten came from somewhere else. And that was somebody else showing up as God.
Yeah.
So that's how that song came about, was just the realization that I am the place where God shows up and so is everybody else.
Nice. I'm getting a little misty listening to you recite it. I've heard you sing it a billion times and it always gets me, but hearing you recite it is even just as powerful and just as amazing. So let's give this a listen here, folks. This is I Am the Place Where God Shows Up, Eddie Watkins Jr. Kick back, enjoy, and reflect. So here we go.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. I am the place where God lives. You are the place. Moves and breathes and has we are the place. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. I am the place where God. You are.
Knowing the background of that song, Eddie, now that just means so much more. So thank you so much for sharing that. Couple of things. I know that often we teach what we need to learn. So that's one point that I'm thinking of right now. But the other thing is I'm fascinated how people mishear lyrics in songs. And we all know everybody's song, Beach Boys, Beatles, people have a different taste.
Right.
So All Our Needs Are Met, and you shared on the Facebook Live concert what I think it was a young man, what he thought you were singing.
Yeah. Oh, that's not, another person came up and asked me who was Annette. And where is she? All you need is Annette. I said, no, all our needs are met. The kid says, well, you need a Met? All you need is a Met? I said, no.
I just had this image. All you need is a net, like a catch net. So when you take a leap, you just need a net down there and you'll be fine.
So when you wrote that, All Our Needs Are Met, was that something that you were learning as you wrote it, or tell us about that?
Yeah, that it was, as a matter of fact. It was about fear. There have been things that have happened in my life that put me in a place where I was in fear. And when I know better, I know better. This is the thing about my parents. Now, I have to tell you about my mother. And my mother, she's hardcore Southern Baptist. Hey, like everything is Jesus, 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 right? But this is very true, and this is what got my attention. When I took off on tour from Seattle, Washington, I had just gotten divorced. I'd quit a really, really good job with Kathy Ann Lewis there. Excellent job, where I was treated well and respected. And I hit the road, like with no money really, and no jobs. I would just want to get out of there, So I got out, and there was a period of time when I wasn't doing that well, but miraculously, I made it. I made it through. And I made it through by a lot of people being the place where God showed up in my life. So all our needs are met. And I see the wonderful thing about this is it's on the Across America album, and I was actually traveling across America and recording that CD as I was traveling on my laptop, right? So now I'm in Detroit and I'm in there with my parents and everything, and I'm wanting to do this song, and I needed some claps, and I needed somebody to just sing a little bit All I Needs Are Met in the background. So I had everything, all of my equipment set up in my room. So I called my whole family in the room, and they came in, and this is one of my fondest memories of my dad. Now, he couldn't speak that well. He was on a walker. He couldn't walk at all, but he had perfect timing. And the thing is that when my family started clapping, it was like one clap. We all clapped exactly in sync, and it was amazing. I said, listen, can somebody be a little bit off so it sounds like claps? It was incredible. But the essence of that song is about what we know, but we fall asleep, right? So these are the things that we know. We've been taught this, but still, a lot of times we'll go into fear when things look like they're unmanageable, So that was why the first words of that song is, sometimes I forget that all my needs are met. Sometimes I fall asleep thinking things I don't even believe. Until I wake up in gratefulness, counting all the ways I'm blessed, because all my needs are met, So basically that's a testimony. That song, as a matter of fact, I do say that. I said, I saw the light, I testify. No matter how dark it gets, that all my needs are met, And that's how that song came out. Now that song pretty much is a testimony of what I have learned over the years. That, things can get dark, but if you have faith and you know that all of your needs are met, you're sending a message to the universe, and the universe says, yes, of course. If that's what you believe, then of course your needs are met. Now watch this.
Come on.
All my needs are met. All my needs are met. All my needs are met. Okay. All my needs are met. Sometimes all my needs are met. I forget all my needs are met. That all my needs are met. And then I fall asleep. All my needs are met. Thinking things I don't believe, until I wake up in gratefulness, counting all the There were times I recall when I couldn't see the light of day, but somehow sweet spirit made a way out of no way, and that is why I testify. No matter how dark it gets, or that all I need, I could not have come this far without the everlasting arm, my shelter from the cold. I'm so grateful that I know there were times when I thought I couldn't make it through another day. Made a way out of no way. I saw the light, I testify. No matter how dark it gets, or that all I need, I made. I thought I couldn't make it through another day. Somehow, sweet spirit made a way out of no way, and that is why I testify. No matter how dark it gets, that all I need, I made. All I need to do. Amen. So it is. Woo! Have mercy.
Cool. Yes. All our needs are met. Thank you, Eddie, for being with us. I want to switch just a little bit here before we run out of time. I'm not a musician. I love promoting musicians. I love paying attention to musicians, and I've always been fascinated. As a musician, you obviously have a depth of knowledge. You're, I would imagine, super aware of your colleagues and what's going on around you in your industry. And in New Thought, well, we don't like to admit it, but we're kind of a small pond. And especially when it comes to musicians, we're kind of a small pond. So over the years, you've chosen to create cover songs of a few pretty well-known Thought musicians: Daniel Nahmod, Michael Gott, Karen Drucker. We're going to listen to a cover that you've done, one of Daniel Nahmod's songs. This is, we're going to listen to it first, and then I'm going to ask you a little bit more. How do we get to these? But give this a listen, folks. This is Daniel Nahmod's song, Swing Wide the Doors, but there's no question Eddie Watkins Jr. kind of makes this one his own in this version. So let's give this a listen real quick. This is Swing Wide the Doors by Eddie Watkins Jr.
Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Here we go. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. It's about love and it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love and it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love and it's about service, it's about lending a hand. Lending a hand. Woo! Here we go. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors and let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
All right. So, yeah, obviously you're making that your own, but how do you, as a musician, as an artist, how do you determine, hey, this is one that I've got to cover, especially when you're dealing with some of these artists that have huge collections? Daniel, Karen Drucker both have very large collections. What's your process for determining, hey, this is one that I'm going to cover, that I know I can cover, and yeah, this is the one?
Well, Swing Wide the Doors, to me, it sounded like a gospel song that didn't quite get the punch it needed, you know. So I told Daniel, I said, man, listen, I want to do your song, but I'm going to do it different. You know, okay, first thing, I got to say this. Daniel Nahmod, when I first came into New Thought, Michael Gott had hired me to be at a Silomar. That was the first time I met Daniel. And I just thought he was brilliant, you know, because I had been listening to his songs anyway, because I covered a lot of them in our services in Las Vegas. But the man, Daniel Nahmod, when I first came into this, I said, Daniel, I want to pick your brain, man. He says, well, I love pizza. I said, okay. I said, I'll buy you pizza, man. You know, so we went around. We were there at a Silomar, right? So we left for Silomar and we went to Shakey's. And we sat down at Shakey's with a pizza, and I think he had a beer or whatever. And Daniel Nahmod, he gave me years worth of information in that one meeting that we had. And I've tested out his principles, and they all work, because I think Daniel Nahmod is one of the most brilliant writers, New Thought or any other thought, you know. So, but far as Swing Wide the Doors is concerned, I heard that song, but I heard it a lot differently from how he was doing it. And I thought that this was like a gospel type song. So that's where I took it, and he approved of it, and I was very happy about that.
Right. long time ago, I heard a story by Arlo Guthrie.
Uh-huh.
And Arlo Guthrie, for those that maybe don't know the name, is a prolific American songwriter as well.
Yeah, that's the right guy.
And he would tell a story that songwriting is a lot like fishing. You throw your pen in there and you hope you catch something.
Mm.
And then he would along with his story, he'd go on for a little bit. Then along with the story, he said, and along the way, you learn one good thing. You never fish downstream of Bob Dylan. and when he's, you know, because Bob Dylan would never throw anything back. Bob Dylan, he'd keep everything he caught. He'd never leave anything for the guys downstream.
Mm-hmm.
And when I listened to Daniel, I don't know that I'd want to fish downstream of Daniel either. But it sounds like being able to find the one and find those songs that can cross over from his writing to your style, and I think you've done the same with Michael. And with share us a little more. How do you kind of fall into saying of someone's catalog, what's the hook that gets you to say, this is something I want to cover?
Well, as far as Michael Gott's song, I Fly, I had never heard of that song, but we were doing a Tizay service in Las Vegas, and a lady by the name of Laura Hallett, you know, she wasn't even a reverend then. She was running the bookstore. You know, I think
she's a sweetheart.
I think we maybe took crack class together. Something. I mean, this is like a long, long time ago. And she would give me songs to sing, and I would just like, I'll do it, but I'm not too crazy about it. And she says, there's a song by Michael Gott called I Fly, and you could do it. I know you could do it. And I said, yeah, okay. And then I listened to the song, and I said, whoa, wow, that's a good song, but I don't like the groove on it. You know, I think it ought to be more like house music, a disco kind of deal, you know. So I said, well, I'm going to jump into this thing. What captured my heart was the falling into God's love. And that was the part that just, oh man, when I would sing that, and I'm falling into God's love, that was the key to me, because that's how I feel. I feel like I'm falling into God's love every single day. And it was about letting go. And when you let go, you know, I used to tell my band, I said, listen, like, we're going to go out here and play. And what I want you to do is climb out on the limb and saw it off behind you. Yeah. You know, because that's the only way you're going to fly. And I guarantee you will fly, because it takes a lot of confidence to saw that off behind you, you know. So anyway, but that's pretty much what Michael Gott was saying. He said, I let it go. I released the thing that's holding me, and I'm falling into God's love.
There we go.
And I feel spirit holding me. I mean, just every lyric. See, Michael Gott, to me, is one of the most prolific writers, because there's another song, there's a lot of songs that he did, but I was blessed enough to do a duet with Michael Gott in Dallas of There's Only Love. And it's one of my favorite videos, and it's still on YouTube now, but it's Michael Gott and myself singing There Is Only Love, another song of His Spirit in Me, Move in the Direction of Your Dream. So these are fans. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Daniel Nahimad. I'm a fan of Michael Gott. And those are the only two people that I've ever covered their songs. You know, I mean, I do I Am So Blessed and stuff like that, you know, live, but I've never recorded anybody's songs except for Daniel Nahimad and Michael Gott.
Michael Gott. Gotcha. Well, folks, we'll make sure to leave a link. We don't have time to listen to I Fly today, because I want to get to something else here, but we'll leave a link in the show notes so you can catch that video of Eddie and Michael Gott sharing that song and others. We've got kind of our last surprise question. We never tell anybody this. And actually, before we get there, give us a couple minutes. What's on the horizon? What's coming next? What's new in the Eddie Watkins world? When we're allowed to be back out in the world, what's happening? What can we look forward to from Eddie Watkins Jr.?
Well, I'm always trying to figure out, how can I serve? What can I bring to the party? Because, you know, like you said, we have like these brilliant artists that are out there. I just met a young lady at the CSL convention in Denver. Her name is Amber Darland. I heard her voice, and I had not heard a voice like that in years. I mean, this young lady was just amazing, you know. So I'm wishing her every success. You know, what was your question?
On the horizon, what's coming up?
On the horizon?
Because I get emotional sometimes when I talk about, you know, these youngsters that are doing this. Because, you know, when I was at this convention, I was the old guy. Right. you know, like 11 years ago at the Silema, I was the new guy, and now I'm the old guy. So I mean, God is good. God is so good. But what's happening to me is, like, I was trying to figure out, how can I be of service during this quarantine thing. And I was just thinking, from my last concert, people were telling me that they were like moving furniture out of the way and dancing. So I was thinking, well, why not do a quarantine dance party?
Yeah.
So I'm talking about doing like some Temptations and doing some Barry White and, like, you know, I mean, some of that kind of stuff, some Righteous Brothers. So, I mean, just give people an opportunity to just move the coffee table back and move the chairs back and just dance in your house, along with people from all over the country at the same time. Right. So I figured that was something that I would be able to deliver, that would be unique and that would really lift spirits during this time. So that's the thing that's coming up for me. And it's going to be, I was just working on a flyer before we hooked up, but that's going to be April 18th at 9:00, I believe.
All right.
Yeah, so it's going to be like, and I'm not going to do it on Facebook Live. I'm going to do it on YouTube Live for the fact that the fidelity and the quality is going to be better for music.
Good.
But that's what's new on the horizon for me, along with assisting other people in how to get a more quality recording, because some of these amazing artists are out there using Zoom and using these things, and it's not helping them. It sounds terrible. Right. Zoom is great for meetings, but for music, it's horrible.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things, and I'm actually helping a lot of my friends to try to get a better audio sound when they share their talent.
Great. Gotcha. Cool. A man of service in all times. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you heard it here first, folks. Live Eddie Watkins dance party coming soon. So we'll make sure that the notes and all the links you need for that are in the show notes to this program as well. So, okay, here's our big final surprise question. What is your favorite Eddie Watkins tune?
I Walk Away.
Tell us a little more.
I Walk Away is not only about walking away from substance abuse, it's about walking away from my old concepts of what God was. What I was taught and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us. Each day I start anew, and so I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long.
Let's give that a listen, folks. Here it is, Eddie Watkins Jr., I Walk Away.
Every morning, the light keeps getting brighter as I wake up to the truth. And every day, I'm feeling so much lighter, and the world seems fresh and new. What I was taught and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us. Each day I start anew, and so I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to such sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. Every morning brings a new beginning. By grace another day to be. I awaken to the sun upon me shining, lighting the way for me to see. Oh, things that I sought and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us. Of yesterday I'm letting go. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the less than that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to such sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. Today is the day I walk away.
All right. Well, Eddie, thank you so much for being with us today. It's been a pleasure to be connected.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Eddie.
Oh, you're welcome, Jeanne.
All right, folks. Well, that's about all the time we've got for today. This has been Real Conversations. I'm Robert Brzezinski here with Jeanne Kataoka. Our guest today was Eddie Watkins Jr. Please check out his music and check out his website. We love you, folks. Thanks for being with us. Until next time, stay positive and enjoy the tunes.
All right.
Peace and blessings.
All right, everybody. Be blessed. Stay
You
safe.
too. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Real Conversations, exploring the meaning behind the music. Real Conversations is produced by the New Thought Radio Network, sharing a vibration of love, positivity, and empowerment through a variety of media streams. Learn more on the web at newthoughtmedianetwork.org. Listen to past episodes of Real Conversations on the podcast page at newthoughtradio.net. Until next time, peace and blessings. Go forth and prosper.